do's and the don'ts. So it's kind of a bit easy for me.
Did you find that you had to kind of fight your way through to be seen, or did you feel that
definitely you have to do that because because there are other people, 6 other people who have already set a precedent. So for you to get there, definitely you need to fight your way through it. It's been a tough journey. And I feel like I've just been recognized 3 years ago. So it's
like by your family.
Yeah.
For them to actually realize you exist.
Desmond. Desi. Yeah.
So it's a tough journey.
We've just discovered Desmond 2-3 years ago. Your family must just be like, wow, Desmond. Really?
Smart,
I'm actually just curious what made them discover you.
I think it's because I set my own rules and I go by them, and not blaming anyone for your own misfortunes and owning them up. So when they see that you have outgrown that stage of blaming your parents for blah blah blah, I think kind of it liberates you from the bondage.
Yeah, you really know who you are.
I know.
So yeah.
Look at you. So tell me, how have you been since we last spoke, Spontaneous? What's been happening?
I have been good. I have been good, I have been scared, I have been excited. I've just been having like a whole roller coaster of what life has to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you've been working on something, which is why we're
Yeah.
here today.
Yeah, we've been working on this show. It's called the Gaining Grip Experience. We've been literally gaining grip, I know, right?
Every single time,
Yeah.
How did you two meet? How did your paths cross?
Wow. Who wants to go first?
Go first. You go first.
Well, this story cannot be told without one Gladys Mwende. She's a very interesting human. Yeah, she's the founder of Anika. Yes. So apparently Gladys had this whole idea, and she reached out to us differently about having an organization that would have a space for people to talk about gender. It started out as gender-based violence, gender issues, rape, and things like that, things that people feel quite heavy upon, mental health and things like that. So when she shared it with me, since I have sort of gone through sexual violence and things like that, I thought, yeah, I would totally love to be part of this initiative. At that time, we didn't even have a name. We're trying to figure out which name to... Was it flowers, petals? Yeah, so I first met Des through the first meeting that Gladys had curated. And I remember we were me, Desmond, Gladys. I called in Vanessa Umbura, and there was Robin Nyakundi, and Kate. Kate, who's now handling the Cake at Affair. And Corinne Kahi. Corinne Kahi is she's just a dope artist. But anywho, the whole idea was to try and figure out how we were going to carry out these conversations and offer solutions. And we found ourselves as the drivers of Anika, an art-based initiative, changing the world art at a time.
Art at a time.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me more about Anika. How do you change the world one piece of art at a time?
For us, basically, what I was just telling you, we have to speak out more often. So we have a tagline, it's called Silence Kills. Yeah, because most of the people are facing issues like mental health just because they never had people to confide in, So for us, what she was just saying, she has experience with gender-based violence. I have like a experience with mental health, and one of the biggest challenges we faced in our healing process was that we had no one to talk to, or we had no safe spaces to just engage with other people who are facing the same issues. So we figured, well, how about we create a safe space to talk about these issues that people are not able to talk about on the road or in a matatu or something like that. So that's why the idea of Anika started. And we are artists, so young people have this tendency of not having a long concentration span, So when you have a discussion, for example, an open forum, and it goes for 2 hours, probably they just listen for the first 30 minutes and everyone will be on their phones. So we figure, how do we engage people more? And we are artists and people love art, So we just joined our art and brought the poetry, music into the conversations. Yeah. So that's how basically
And
it
we've
started.
been we've done this a couple of times with various projects. The first year we just spoke about gender issues, gender violence. The second year we moved to SDGs, and then we picked it up to mental health. And we've been silent for like barely a year.
Almost a year. Yeah.
And we were super excited because in November, this November, right? 2 weeks ago, courtesy of this guy, he's the operations guy, by the way. Yeah. We were able to do Y Talks with Global Peace Foundation,
Emerging Leaders Foundation, and Mental 360 and YWCA.
So now it's been forums and also themed events. Because at the end of the day, as he has said, we are all artists. Yeah. So we've been having various projects, like there's the fatherhood issues where you get...
It's a safe space for people to talk about issues that they never really got to talk about their fathers especially, and fathers to engage with young people, to give them just the perspective of what life is.
So it's an open forum that people can come and also speak, or do you have people speaking to them?
We do have the panel. So we have people speaking. Of course, we also have it. We have this in mind that if we, aside from just talking about it, what else? Yeah. Like if someone needs to go and get a counselor. So our whole idea is also to just bridge that gap and be a link towards a solution. So when the panelists come in, they're just specialists who are conversant with this conversation.
Oh, I want to hear more about that, but I know we have to take a break. And I also would love another performance, maybe from Spontaneous, but that's going to be after the break, so do not go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment.
To answer, Mary.
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because her tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate.
Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities
for maximum cavity protection. And now available in a 12-gram sachet for fresh breath. Only 15 shillings.
Golden rules for clear and smooth skin, brought to you by Mentholatum Acnes. Deep cleanse using Acne's creamy wash that has vitamin C and E, which nourish and moisturize the skin. Cleans face by removing excess oils and dirt that block pores. Kills acne-causing bacteria.
When it comes to pimple care, Acne's Creamy Wash contains multiple vitamins and removes excessive oil and dirt. Use Mentholatum Acnes for clear and smooth skin every day.
Tusongembele na Fiber Mobile. Get a fiber SIM card today and enjoy Tusongembele bundles at affordable prices.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
What does this loser want?
Be nice. It's Christmas Eve.
Hey, pal. What can I do for you? It was 1 year ago today. I should have turned back. I was tired.
You said you'd be home hours ago. This is ridiculous, Percy.
I know I did. I fell asleep. I'm sorry.
The kids and I are waiting. You promised.
I thought I needed to make more money, but...
Go home to your family, Percy.
I was always running behind. Look, I'm running a little late, so if you don't mind.
Whose fault is that?
Excuse me?
It's okay, honey. Daddy didn't mean to miss your play. He was working.
He's always working.
Yeah, you might as well get used to it, Sophie. He's always late.
I neglected the most important thing in my life, and now it's gone.
How true it is that you're never gonna realize anything till
we don't realize what we got is heaven
kunya ilara yoga sai. Naipenda penda. Naipenda.
Africa is at a crossroads, and what it does in the years ahead could leave it a big winner, or with scars of a few half-won victories. We believe it will win. Welcome to the next 60 years in Africa. The Kosi Ideas Festival, brought to you by the Nation Media Group, is happening this December in Kigali. Come and be part of a Pan-African ideas transaction market and connect with great business minds and Africa's leaders in shaping Africa's future 60 years and beyond. The Kosi Ideas Festival will be in Kigali, December the 8th and the 9th at the Inare Conference Center. For more information on how you can register, visit our website www.kosiideasfestival.com or reach us on the number on your screen right now. The Kosi Ideas Festival, shaping the next Africa 60 years and beyond.
You are watching Living with Ess in association with Minute Maid.
Maisha ni kupanda na kushuka, chochote utakacho basi sema, sema wewe sema. Dear me, first and foremost, I would like to put it out there that you are beautiful. I know the journey from baggy trousers to hipsters. Well, it's funny that how now I radiate in your twinkling buzz. Your package of truths unfold and your heart so fond are just amazing. So dear me, who didn't understand if at some point you actually wanted to be a boy? I mean, just to prove them all wrong. I wish I was a boy, strong enough to be able to fight the bullies of my own siblings, but such heart. I just want to put it out there that your scripts I have grown so fond, dear me, dear me, dear me. You are meant to be owed at in steady lights and dark nights. You motivate me, dear me. Who wouldn't understand if at some point you actually just wanted to be loved by a charmer, but you know life sometimes can be such a bummer. A reporter said on TV, a man 19 hacks his old girlfriend 18, May 2019. A woman kills his husband over 1,000 shilling note, August 2019. Guys, if you want to check more of this and listen to more of this, catch us during the Gaining Grip experience too. Because yeah, thank you for listening. Spontaneous.
Welcome back, everybody. So that piece you just saw was by Spontaneous, and it's called Dear Me. So what does it take? Where do you go to get your, like a piece like that? What does it physically take? Do you take me through the process? Yeah.
Specifically for this piece, it was in line by what inspired the next Gaining Grip experience too, and the whole idea was to just talk about appreciating being woman, like from when you're a young kid to now you're older, then what, to facing societal challenges, to facing your own doubts as a woman, and then now growing out of it and just saying, you know what, I deserve better, I am worth it. So having myself in that space and now just trying to patch it together with the experiences I have had. Yeah. So it's just a lot of reflection, right?
Yeah, wow. And do you have to physically take yourself to another space? Like, are you sitting by yourself? Are you in a restaurant as you're writing? Are you on a laptop? Are you pen and paper? I'm wondering, what does it actually take?
It depends. The pieces I have written on a matatu, Just depends with where the inspiration
comes in. You shared that, yeah.
But this specific piece was after I was from work in Coast, and we were just training guys as Pastry Network on human rights and gender. And I thought to myself, I just got inspired to just talk about being woman. And I remember I had my laptop and I was listening to some music, and I just found myself writing a letter and being super honest about it. Because it's been a while since we were very honest in these pieces. I just laid bare. And about gaining grip is just about laying bare. So,
right, yeah. So tell me about your journey to poetry, because I have spoken to Spontaneous before, so I know hers. But how did you decide that this is really something that you wanted to pursue? Was that an easy decision for you?
Personally, it wasn't, because I tended to be a very shy person growing up. I'm the guy in my home. I'm the one who never talks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Out of all 8?
Yeah.
But you stand on a stage?
Yeah. You know,
out of the 8, you're the shyest?
Yes, I am.
Oh, wow. You are shy?
Even at home, I rarely talk. I'm always either on my laptop, in my room, or doing something.
Oh, wow.
Not around people.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So for me, it wasn't easy, because I've conditioned myself to be alone. I've been a loner for the longest time. So in high school, I think it started in high school when I just decided, I woke up one day, I'm like, I want to join the music club, you know? I went in, and when we were doing the music, when it was close to the music festival, I was given a choral verse to perform. And when I did that, I started getting used to the stage, you know? When I finished high school, go to university, I joined the University of Nairobi. Now that's when I joined the theatre group, and that's when I actually actively started performing. We created a lot of platforms for young people to just come and perform at the university. There's the Literature Students Association, we have the poetry sport and stuff. So people could just come and talk about whatever they're going through. If you are stressed and you wrote something down, you just come and read it to us, and we'll discuss it and share different perspectives towards it. And that's my journey with poetry. So from there, I got out. After campus, I started performing outside. That's in 2014, 2015. Yeah, I've been able to meet amazing artists like her.
Spontaneous.
Yeah. So, and they are like people who challenge you and encourage you every single day to do better. Yeah.
I feel like he's being so humble about this.
Oh, so you want to share the real situation? Okay. Toot his horn. Toot it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, he is the ops guy of Anika. You are a co-founder of an art-based initiative that's amazing. He, together with a team, of course, but we accolades to you, man. He organized. Do you want me to talk about that, or do you want to talk about it alone?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The random stories of Kauzi to Rwanda.
Ah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's also been together with the team Kalichi. We have one of us who's also in Rwanda called Kalichi. They've been able to also, they made East African tour happen. Talk about it.
So for the tours, mainly what we do is the team, we developed a curriculum. It's called Design Thinking for Artists. So we train artists on creative writing, entrepreneurship, networking, marketing, because most of us really, as artists, we just know how to go on stage and do our thing. But then when it comes to talking about whatever we do, we don't know how to talk to corporates and stuff, basically selling yourself out. Or most of us are very introverted, so we never even get to talk to people past the event, you know. So we train them on all those wholesome aspects of being an artist, what my friend Robin calls capacity building for artists. Yeah. So we train them, and then after training them, we curate events for them where, for example, Spontaneous, we have an event like Gaining Grip as a fundraising platform. And then when we get the money off the event, we are able to take her to a different country to just experience what art is like in the other country.
And there's nothing like submerging yourself in a completely different space, culture, language, fashion, everything, to really open up your world, because it starts to cracks something inside you just cracks wide open.
Yes.
And you can never undo that. So I love that idea of like taking them to a different space.
Yeah.
So the Gaining Grip Experience 2.0. What is this one about? What is the theme? What's happening? What can people expect this Sunday?
It's I like how you just looked at me.
Yeah.
Well, I would just like to make mention the background. Gaining Grip Experience 1 was through I had an album launch called Gaining Grip, and the whole idea was to just talk about me and just lay bare through other artists. So this year was very interesting. I am a huge fan of a lady called Nomonde Sky, and I follow her lots. So I sort of DM'd her on Facebook and I got her number, but it turns out that was the manager's number. And I told her how, I like what you do, that's just been really amazing, and maybe one day we could do something together. You know how you just say one day, and you don't think about one day is going to be this soon. So the manager probed. I like that he probed. He's called Fizz, and he probed, and I kept quiet for 2 weeks. And I went back to my team, that's Robin and Desmond. Like, okay, what do you do about this? They're like, you've started a conversation. They just have the conversation and let's see how it goes. And eventually they're like, yeah, would like to be part of, especially because it's on gender and development. It's we are celebrating women. This time round, we just, not to say we are not celebrating the men. I mean, the people behind this are men. Yeah. But it's just about celebrating women. Understanding, people talk about gender equality, but do they really talk about how when they were younger, for me, I wanted to be a boy when I was younger.
Why is that?
I felt I was a weakling, because there's a way in which the society brands masculinity as strength, and then if you're a woman, you're a weakling. So for a long time, I just wanted to be a man. And I remember even playing with hot charcoal, competing with other boys, just to prove a point that what you can do, a woman can do better. So I wanted to share it from that point of view. I wanted people to understand that you start having gender struggles when you're very young. So when people say gender equality, it's from a very tender age. So maybe if they were able to delve deeper into that, then we can have that conversation of gender parity in a more mature and more reasonable manner. And Nomonde Sky is very big on women individuality and free thinking. So we thought, interesting, this is something we're both interested in, why not have it? And I am just grateful that I have a team in Desmond here to keep on pressing me on towards this, and an amazing cast that goes without saying, a 7 and a 10-year-old. Yeah, you should come. What? Now you see.
There's a 7 and a 10-year-old?
There's a 7 and a 10-year-old who are
going to do a piece?
Yes, they'll be singing and rapping.
Oh, ooh.
You have to.
Okay. So is it, so as part of your lineup, you've got both men and women? So it's women?
It's just, and that was pretty deliberate. We didn't want to sell out the show as a woman's, but we wanted the headlining to just speak for itself. So as much as we, like the 7 and the 10-year-old, the 10-year-old is taking center stage because she's a lady. She's called Esther, but her crew is the dad and the other younger sibling.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, she's so cool.
and we have I Am Socrates. I love her because of her poetry. It's just on another level. Then we have Ivy, we have Nicole, we have
and I know we're going to meet a couple of them.
You guys need to meet a couple of them. They just...
And the theme for each of these artists, they have to touch on...
Everyone has... The interesting thing is it's a theatrical presentation. So like the kid talks about gender imbalance and questioning themselves. And then Tess talks about, now you're older, you're a teen, you love how you look like, but now you have a friend who died through femicide, so you fear relationships. Then Ivy takes over with the whole idea of, you know what, I am more mature, I think I can handle relationships. But eventually, no, that's cool, but eventually they go through domestic violence. And then now Ivy takes over by remembering when she was a kid and what she really wanted to do. So that's now solving the issue. And then I take over. I'm like, okay, sir, you know what? It seems like relationships have been difficult, so I'll just take over with my career. And then now you swing back to now you're a full-time artist. That's now No More in the Sky coming in and facing societal issues.
That sounds good. You've really just gone 360. Like I love that. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So where can people buy the tickets?
Okay, so
how do people show up? What do we do?
Also, we have on my MOOC.
Okay.
Yeah, we have. You just can search for Gaining Grip, and then you'll get how to buy the ticket.
Yeah, on my MOOC.com.
Yeah, we also have a call-in number,
yeah,
which is 0707-761-744. You can call in and we'll just reserve the ticket for you.
All right.
The M-Pesa payment
number.
We
have the M-Pesa till number 800-320.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this Sunday, Michael Joseph Center.
Yes.
5 p.m.
Yes, 5 to 9 p.m.
5 to 9 p.m. this Sunday. Sounds like it's going to be really good.
You have
Sounds
no
like
idea.
it's going to be really good.
You have no idea.
Show up. Show up. That's basically what they're saying is show up. If you want to have an idea, don't miss this one.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I now want to meet a couple of the artists who are going to be there on Sunday. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll get 1 or 2 more pieces and get to meet some of the artists. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment.
Delamere Premium Yogurt. It's your moment.
Machakos, it's about time. Churchill Show live recording makes a grand return to the Ukambani city, Machakos, on this Saturday 16th November at the Machakos Kenyatta Stadium. Twende Macha. It's the Churchill Show Nova Edition. Last time it was awesome. This time, you gonna love it more. Unlimited fun to the maximum from your favorite Churchill Show comedians, hosted by Churchill. Tickets go for 1,000 shillings VIP and 500 shillings regular seating. Dial *229 *29 hash or *483 *82 hash to get your advance ticket, or buy one at Mulay Supermarkets Machakos and Nolongo, or at Naivas Machakos. Churchill Show live recording experience in Machakos, Nova Edition. Saturday 16th November at the Machakos Kenyatta Stadium. Twende Macha.
My dear Lord, for your support.
It tastes actually really nice. It's good.
Kila aina ya dhiki indani ya ulegevu. Ulegevu ni adui, nyumba ya umaskini.
Karim mkarimu ana karamu.
Mkarimu ana karamu.
Wow, that looks so beautiful.
My dear Lord, for your support, for your love.
Study hotel management and culinary arts through our Swiss-based curriculum and methods. Earn a dual Swiss diploma in 2 years from BIHC and BHMS. Apply for the January 2020 intake.
I already got the evidence that you need.
I'm very sorry.
What?
I will not let what his arrogant brother did to me pass that easily. No one hurts Samantha Del Mundo Ojeda and gets away with it.
You take pleasure in hurting other people?
I don't just enjoy it, I savor it. I will tell them every single detail I know.
Did you release my documents to the press?
Salvador, please don't make a scene.
The blind man told police officers, afade mimi sijawahi ona bangi maisha yangu yote.
Hizo ma award zikafanya watu waanze kuimbia award badala waimbe the word.
Mimi mkinichagua mtaona miujiza.
Anajifanya siku hizi.
Kibia mara moja.
Naogopa Mwenyezi Mungu na uji moto peke yake.
Hiyo si bangi.
You are watching Living with Ess in association with Minute Maid.
Welcome back, everybody. We're at Park Inn by Radisson, and I've got two artists who will be performing at the Gaining Grip Experience this Sunday. I have got Socrates. I am Socrates. And I've also got Nicole Agneta. How are you both doing?
We're good.
So tell me a little bit about yourselves and how you got to discover that you actually love spoken word and poetry. And we can start with you, Nicole.
Great. I think for me it started off with reading books.
Okay.
And then I fancied myself a writer, and then I realized I was not.
Why? Wait, so what makes you a writer, but a poet, but not a writer?
I don't think I could commit to what it actually takes to, like a whole book.
Yeah, 300 pages in.
Yeah, so I realized that my short stories would rhyme a lot. So I was like, oh, maybe that's like a thing. And
How
then
old
that's
were
how
you at the time?
I was in primary school, so yeah, around that.
Quite early.
Yeah.
And what books were you reading in primary school?
They were very random. Okay. A few like romance books, which I don't know why I had access
those ones
to.
That some were banned, that it would be like, ooh, did you see what happened in 1977?
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the ones I got exposed to first.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was your journey into poetry like, Socrates?
I think for me, I was always writing, but more so for my feelings. So I would write like, today I hated class. My teacher was such an...
Yeah.
And then I was like around 9 or 10, and then I like ran into my mom's like poetry that she wrote, but hers didn't rhyme. So then I was always like writing mine. Spoken word, I would perform like once in a while, but I wasn't really into spoken word. But yeah, now I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your mom
is also a poet.
Yeah. Did you know quite early on that she was?
No.
Or?
I used to like write, and then I like ran into like her poetry.
Oh my goodness!
So I think it's like in the genes.
Yeah. and was art supported in your homes, in your family, in your childhood? Was it something that you found that your parents even like sort of pushed you into and just to excel in?
Yeah, my mom was like a single parent, so I feel like she always felt the need to like support me and everything, like 150%. So I didn't feel like I was missing anything. So she saw me dancing, she'd be like, "Oh my God, you're so amazing! You should do so. You think you can dance?" Yeah. She saw me like write a short story. She's like, "Oh my God, you should write a book." Yeah. So she just like supported me in everything. Even if I'd have been like, I want to do like, I don't know, just be a bum, she'd be like, okay.
Yeah, yeah, really good.
Yeah.
And what was your journey like?
My mom is also very supportive, and I've always been very experimentative. So I was very into sports and the writing stuff. So I started competitions quite early. Yeah.
And did you know quite early on that this is what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to commit to it to a level where it was something I could do continuously.
Yeah. And was your expectations of it what you actually met when you started? Was it like, okay, all right, this is what I was thinking, or was it different?
My first show was actually honestly magical. It
really?
Was, yeah. I was like very, very nervous, and I wasn't sure if I would even remember the pieces that I'd written. But then I went up on stage, and then I started performing, and then it just felt very like home.
Right. Yeah. It felt natural. Yeah. Was your experience similar?
Yeah, for me, I mean, poetry has never been like a job. It's always been a hobby. So actually what happened in school is someone would like run into my poetry and be like, "Oh, can you write something for us for the graduation? Can you write something for us?" So then I would like do it. But my first show also had like good reception.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, really?
Yeah.
You guys are interested in this?
So do you still see it as a hobby or your
Yeah,
career?
for me it's a hobby. It's not a source of income for me,
Yeah.
although I do, like I have another job.
Yeah. So how was that easy for you to make peace with, that poetry wouldn't be your career? Did you at any point want for it to be your number one your bread and butter?
Yeah, no, because like I said, most of the poetry I write is actually like for myself. So actually the ones that I have to perform, I kind of go back and I take out some too personal things, and then I like put more like general stuff in there. Because for me, it's first a way of expression for myself, and then the performing is just still a hobby, I think.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So, but why, I mean, I think I know why you're going to say it, but why take out bits that you think are too personal?
For me, it began because, again, I didn't really want to perform. It was just like a way of like fun stuff. And then sometimes, you know, you put names in there and you don't really want to know who they are. And the more I perform, the more I'm realizing I can actually share, and that's actually become more therapeutic for me. So like I would never talk about like my dad not being around in my poetry, but now I put that in. So it's just a way of like balancing what's personal and what's like therapeutic, and also what's like entertaining.
Yeah.
So.
Do you struggle with that balance, or are you, I'm just gonna bear it all and put in?
I think for me it's like been progressive, because at first I wouldn't put anything about like my personal life.
Yeah.
But lately I've been delving more into projects that have themes. So for example, like for this show, there's certain stuff I have to put in where it's sort of revealing.
Yeah.
And then there is a project that we should be doing.
Yeah.
And it's based on fatherhood. And my background with my dad is quite similar to hers. So I think at some point it forces you to open up.
Yeah. And I imagine for it to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine for it to be masterful work, you have to source it from somewhere so deep within that it can't not be personal. It has to be. It's like a spiritual. You become now this conduit where it's just flowing through you. So it has to be personal. But then how do you balance out so that you're not like wow. Socrates told us everything.
It's like reading out your diary.
Wow. But you know, that's the thing I actually like about spoken word, is that maybe you'll get to like rehearse some lines that you're like, okay, I usually cry when I say this, but I'm not gonna cry. But then when you perform it actually taps into that feeling again, and you're like, your voice cracks.
Yeah.
And funny enough, the audience loves that. Like a lot of the general poems I do, they're like, yes, lines. But then I'm like, you know, when I was young, he didn't like me, and they're like, I'm there with you. Like, you know, they're like,
because they connect. And I think we've done, I think social media, and we're probably digressing, but hey, but I think the world we live in really glorifies these perfect stills and perfect moments, and makeup slayed, hair snap, everything has to be so perfect that when you show any moment of realness, which a lot of times shows like pain or some kind of weakness, or that they look at that and they see strength, you know, and they're like, I want more of that. Give me more of that. What has been the turning point for you in your poetry career? Is there a moment where you thought, wow, this is it. This is what makes me feel like I should be here, I should continue?
I think when I can write something that I'm personally proud of. So regardless of whether I go on stage and then, because you know there's certain lines you write and you're like, the crowd is gonna snap so hard, and then you say it and then it's like silence. And then the ones that you weren't really expecting a major response from is the one people are like, oh my god, when you say that line, I felt that. So I think for me, adding that personal touch to it, and then because every now and then I'll do a show and then afterwards someone will come up to me and like, I really, really liked that piece. And it feels nice.
Okay,
to
so
like
those are the
have that
moments you hold
acknowledged.
on to as like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, if I enjoyed it and then a few people in the crowd enjoyed it as well, then
yeah,
it's a good time.
Is it the same for you? Like the connection with the audience?
Yeah, exactly. I find the more personal things that I do, the more that the audience is more connected. And for me, actually, it's like one significant moment. I had done slam poetry, Slam Africa, and like I think the first month I won, and then like the last one at the end of the year where you were going to be like Slam Queen or Slam King. I had done some more fun pieces, and then I decided for my last one, I really want to do something that's super personal to me. And the whole time I'm like breaking down, crying as I'm doing it. And then I actually didn't win. And then the audience at the end came and said, it's crazy because that's the poem that we liked the most out of everything. And then also in that moment I realized I don't want to perform a personal piece and be scored for it. You know, I don't want to do something that makes me super emotional and they go 70%, 80%. And so I think for me that was like, don't confuse the creativity for like feedback. So I actually don't, for me, like when I feel good about it, that's enough. And then if someone else likes it, I'm like, great.
Oh wow, that's such an interesting moment to be able to recognize that there is beauty in creating and putting it out there, but that it doesn't need to be. You don't need it to be validated in a certain way for it to be beauty and art and good. Exactly. What are the parts about poetry that are a little challenging, aren't so pretty, that make you feel like, is there something about this that you find a little challenging?
I think for me it's writer's block.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So what do you do when you have writer's block?
I haven't found like the perfect solution to it. So sometimes I find that sometimes if I'm trying to write about something and I'm having a difficult time, it's either because I'm not being honest with myself enough, or maybe I just don't have a story to tell within that scope. And I think sometimes it's fine because I think there was a time I went for a show, and I think as an artist sometimes you also want to tell important stories, and there are certain labels as to what important is. So if you're not talking about gender inequality, if you're not talking about poverty, if you're not talking about politics, and you talk about more chill, relatable stuff, then maybe you're not doing important work. But at the same time, if you're trying to tell someone else's story and you don't do it justice, it comes off so ingenuine and the crowd doesn't connect. You know you're not connecting either. So, yeah.
Wow. Oh, good. That's good. The part about writer's block and having to move past that by just being more honest with yourself, I think is so beautiful. Are there any hard moments for you, Socrates, about poetry in this industry?
I think the writing, no, but the industry, yes. So like more so like the poetry scene is kind of dominated by a lot of men. They're usually the ones organizing the events. They're usually the ones like, you know, like just dominating the space. And so sometimes you find if they're organizing an event, you're the only woman. Everyone is talking about different things. Also just how they kind of treat you in the whole process of it is not really fair. And I think for me it was challenging because men are pretty aggressive when it comes to their art or just anything like ambitious. And for me, poetry's always just been like a chill thing. I'm not in it to be like, you know, like beating people out of the space, although I do though. So I think when I first started, I was a bit like, okay, let's see what the space is like. And a lot of them thought like, you're not like, you're waiting for people to do things for you, to organize shows for you. And I'm just like, I'm gonna do it in my own time. Yeah, so I think that's the challenging part, the fact that it's kind of dominated by.
Yeah. I mean, we just had Spontaneous on the show, and the last time she was on the show, there was a lot of talk around that, the industry being dominated by men, and how to sort of overcome that as a woman. And it got quite interesting, I thought. I almost wish we could do. No, we should do another show, and we talk about that, especially in the arts industry. But now that we've come to the end of the show, I'm going to ask that you please perform a piece each to bid us farewell. Make sure that our Thursday is good, because I did start the show off by saying poetry is going to make us feel something and hopefully feel good. So I'd love to hear some of your pieces as we say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and thank you to Park In by Radisson. Make sure to buy your tickets if you haven't already. Sunday, 5 p.m. Buy your tickets. And now we're going to have a piece from the two ladies, one each, right? All right, take us away.
Queens. We have a surplus of them. So we've decided to categorize and term them further. Locally, we have the slay queens, just don't be queer, Rafiki. You can love another queen as long as it's for the pleasure of the king. You're a queen as long as you have that haven between your thighs, or gleam in your eyes, as long as you sit right, do your hair nice, don't be wild. Are you educated? Do you have a desk job? Are you married? No, actually, you're stronger if you don't want him. No, actually, you single ones are the troublemakers, the homewreckers, sit quietly. Actually, if you want to get married, you're just conforming to patriarchal rules and taking us back by centuries. So tell me, what exactly do you want from me? Don't act so indiscriminately to what society has been teaching you. We're a civilized society. That haven we're talking about, it's been colonized. Act like it. But then again, don't. We're future forward, aren't we? It's funny, isn't it? how we teach young girls to love themselves, how we tell them to simply be themselves, but then build them a box and tell them be yourselves in here. They tell you, you're a real-life Wonder Woman. Then marvel at you when you follow through, act whimsical, put on a tight suit and go out and do the things that you want to do. Gawk at you when you don't want the suit, when you want to paint or sing or write poetry. Perform it before them, but you're sold to them. Then they snap their fingers, smile at you, and later and ask, so what is it that you really do? Who are you? No. Who do they allow you to be? See, it's easy to play the victim when you create the crime scene that's society for you.
Listen here, young man. I don't know what your intentions are, but you're not gonna get far with a girl like me. A girl like me with piercing eyes, coy smile, and legs that go for miles and miles and miles. They call me Gazelle, African bombshell. Insecure women use pork fat to cover the skin of their men because only witchcraft could explain how to my whim their sons and husbands bend, but can you blame them? You guys saw how I walked. How my body swayed with every step to the rhythm of the clock. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Boy, I have somewhere to be. And I don't know what your intentions are, but you're not gonna get far with a girl like me. A girl like me with a footprint so big she walked into a room and changes the climate. Who needs a helicopter view of the skyline when you have this brilliant fusion of God and woman as a horizon, and yet ain't it human to see beauty and not find it enough to just observe it? And ain't it like a man to have to touch it and possess it, because ain't it just a woman placed here for his pleasure and consumption, and if I deny him? Ain't I just a woman who defies his interpretation of what God meant when he spoke of submission, but you think you can save me? So you quote me the Old and the New Testament as if my mama didn't read me the Book of Kings and teach me about the queen that was Sheba. She ever so skeptically marched up to the throne that was Solomon and interrogated his knowledge. She, a woman made up king, bent down to her knees, and he, a man just like you, spent the rest of his life writing poems about her, entitled them Wisdom. Because that was the only way he could put her behind a glass cage and pin her to a wall in his kitchen. So, young man, take a picture. It'll last longer. And if you want to see the rest, come to the show.
Take a picture.
I love that piece.